So here we go. This is part 2 of drawing flags and banners. So if you haven't done part 1, you definitely want to review that. Otherwise, you'll probably be lost in this video. It takes a little bit more practice to do this one. They're both a little more challenging. So all you need for this lesson is a school pencil. We are going to do some coloring at the end, which is optional. I'm going to use a Sharpie a lot just so you can see my drawing. So let's get started. This little paper over here is just a scratch paper so I can show you guys some stuff. So we're going to start with the banner first and just make yourself a nice kind of flat smile. Just use your pencil for this, okay? Right in the middle. We are going to put another flag down here. And then remember the first line tells you what's going on in the picture. So we're going to curve around and come back and curve around and come back. This is very similar to the last time. It's just a little bit different take on it. So we're going to curve around that paper clip curve and we're going to go quite a ways out. Turn around that paper clip turn and quite a ways out. So you want to go quite a ways because we're going to go back. So you got to have room to go back. I'm going to extend that one just a little bit more. And then you're going to curve around that paper clip turn and go back and up. That paper clip turn, go back and then up. Now before you go on, make sure no lines touch each other. Make sure you go back and forth, and so you can see the back and forth, kind of like flat S's and Z shapes. Then we're ready to go on. Same rules. End of the curve, draw a line. 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 Remember, never cross a line. The next 4 lines should be exactly the same length, whatever length you choose. I'm going to go for about 1 inch. So this one should be about 1 inch too. Remember to be at the tippy edge. About 1 inch and about 1 inch. Right at the tippy edge. Now, whatever that curve looks like is what you want this curve to look like. I'm noticing that that's a little bit short compared to the other ones. So all I'm going to do is create that curve. Same curve. And whatever that one looks like. So I'm going to just kind of curve up and curve up. And then you can design your own little ending. I'm just going to do that little V shape like that. Now we're almost done, but what we're missing is the top of this ribbon. So this is bottom top, bottom top, bottom top, bottom no top. Remember, don't hit the corner because it's the same ribbon underneath. So you go underneath here and hit the next line. And then your banner's done. By the way, you can look at this 2 different ways. You could have actually put it on your paper that way. You would have started with the top line. And that would have looked really cool if you started with the top line. So now we'll go ahead and start with this again and do a little bit more to it. So let's just say you wanted to write on this Los Ranchos. So I'm going to write out Los Ranchos on another piece of paper and spell it correctly, and then count the letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 5 plus 5 plus 1 is 11. So the number 6 letter is in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget the spaces. 4, 5, 6. So the A is in the middle. So if I put an A right here, I can get my sign to look pretty cool without running out of room on the right or the left. So now I've got my ranchos, and I just have to fit Los in over here, and it'll look pretty cool. So there's my Los Ranchos. I'm going to do just a little brief shading lesson on this in case you wanted to color it. So the first thing you would do is just take your pencil and do some diagonal shading with your pencil like this. You can spend a little more time on it. You'd also want to shade this whole area in and this whole area in. Diagonal shading here. Diagonal shading here. And then shade in this whole area again. Because this area that I'm shading all of it in is actually the back of the ribbon showing and the back of the ribbon showing. Now what's happening here is this is front, back, and a little bit far away front. Front, back, and a little bit far away front. So when I go to color this, I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty cool. I put a little black ending on this. So this is the light touch with my crayon. This is a darker touch with my crayon. And this is the blue on top of the pencil. So if I go, I'm just going to do a little bit of coloring. So I would press hard when I do this part because I want this blue to look far away. So I'm going to press hard in this area. I am not going to color the whole thing, you guys, because it all gets colored the same. Then this would look even darker because it has the pencil lead in it. So it would be the back of the ribbon. And then when I go to color this, I would color it lightly because it's the front of my ribbon. All using one crayon and pencil. Now I did outline mine in a Sharpie, but that's not necessary. Okay, so you guys get it? So that's, you can go from that to that. Pretty cool. Okay, the next drawing we're going to do is a flag, and we're going to go ahead and put our tall flagpole in. And this is going to be a US flag. We're not going to try to be specifically accurate on having all the right numbers of stars and stripes, but everybody's going to know it's a US flag. In art, that's the cool thing. You don't have to be perfect. We're going to actually start with the bottom of the flag on this one. So you're going to start where you think the bottom of the flag would be, and you're going to angle up and part way back. Okay, let me grab my Sharpie so I know you guys can see that. I'm going to go up and halfway back. Then I'm going to loop again, go up and halfway back. Try that twice. Then I'm going to go up and curve. And that is the bottom of my flag. Okay, so same rule right here. These two are easy. Vertical, vertical, hit a line, stop. Now this is going to give me the height of it. Okay, so what I want to happen here is that I have to have it higher than my pole because this one's angling up, so this one would angle up. So I'll show you what's going to happen here. I'm going to come up and I'm going to angle up my pole like that. This one goes angled up, so this one goes angled up. Okay, same following of the vertical lines. Vertical, they can be a little diagonal, but pretty parallel on how they look. Now, because this is lower than this one, see this ribbon right here or this flag right here, the bottom is lower than this one. This part has to be lower, okay? So when I come up, I want to make sure that this is lower. This is where people make a mistake. It has to be lower because this is the same as this. So this one's even lower because it's even lower in the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and do another line. Now this one's a little tricky. See that little curve? I'm going to try to match it. Watch. Curve and over. There's my third one. Now it'd be easier before you put the stripes in to just put in the box that has all the stars in. So if this line angles up and this line angles up, my box line would angle up. And what's going to happen is it's going to curve around and I'm going to see a little bit of that box. Now, it should be about the same length as that one. So I know I need to come down a little bit more so that this is really similar to this. So this is the end of the box. Okay, and then the rest of this would be stripes. So the easiest way to do the stripes on this one, you guys, is to just follow the bottom line. So if I just follow this and follow this and follow this. See how that works? And I'm just going to keep continuing it. They actually look better if they don't touch that line. So I tend to go in between. In between, in between. Do you see how that line is in between those? They will look better if the lines don't match up. And you're just going to keep continuing. Don't stress on whether you have 13 stripes. Nobody's going to sit down and count them, I guarantee. Unless you're going for historical accuracy, you don't have to worry about that. And then I'll just keep going and drawing these flags in. Until I get all my stripes. And you might even find there's more stripes here than there are here. No one will ever know because they don't run into each other. The folds in the fabric kind of camouflage them. Okay? So once I've got all my stripes in, then it's time to color it. So I'm not going to color the whole thing. I'm just going to give you a quick demo on how I would color it. First of all, obviously, you would go red, white, red, white. So you would just be coloring red and then white. And you would keep continuing this. But what I want to show you, which is kind of cool, is how you can use another crayon to do your shading. Inside this area right here is where it would be darker because it's going behind that one. So I would press harder on these stripes just before they go in. And then you want to add a darker color to them to make them look deeper there. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of blue in just to deepen that color. Now, I colored a little bit outside the lines, and so that blue turned a little bit outside the line. So I'm just going to make the red go over it so it's not as noticeable. There you go. Okay. Now, you would just repeat this all over your whole picture. Darker to lighter. Darker to lighter. So on all of them, they'd start with red, skip a space, red, skip a space. But in this little area right next to the line, they would get darker. Okay? I'm going to show you that on a final drawing. So check it out here. See? It's lighter to darker, lighter to darker. How did I get the dark? With blue. Now check out my stars. Do you see all my stars? No, I just give the feeling of stars. I also didn't make my flagpole just one color. I actually used brown and orange and yellow. When I was coloring my stars, I just started by doing these little diagonal squiggles because I just needed it to get the feeling. Everybody knows the American flag. Everybody knows that it's covered in millions of stars. So millions, but you know, for all the states. And so what happens here is that it's just going to have the feeling of having the stars without actually drawing every little star. Now, if you want to, go ahead and then color around the stars. That's a great way to do it. But you don't always have to color every little star to give the feeling of stars. So that's where I shaded it right in here. You could even shade it in between with a little bit of blue because the shading color of white is blue. So I'm just going to put a teeny bit of blue in between these. Don't forget the way that I got this red to look darker was adding some blue to the red. One of the cool things about crayons, you guys, that makes your drawings look amazing is adding color to them. See how three-dimensional these look with the addition of some color? And that's just crayons. That's all it is. This one I actually used yellow, and then I added a little bit of orange into it to make it more gold. And then I added some brown on the left side to shade it, just like this is shaded on the left side. My pole is actually shaded more on the left side. I got it a little bit darker on the left side. Anyway, I hope you have fun with this, and I'll see you in the next video.